how to be successful with Agile, get really close.
All right. First of all, we're supposed to say thanks to the sponsors. That means us.
And Infosys, of course. Thanks, guys.
All right. We are from Teletronics, and we're here to tell you at least our story and how we believe that we have gained success here in Dubai by adapting Agile. So, but firstly, shortly about Teletronics. Originally, we were started and founded in Denmark. We moved to Dubai in 2007, and ever since then, we have grown quite a bit. Actually, we are aiming to hire new guys every single month. That's our goal. We are currently no more than around 50, 60 people, I believe. But we are still, and that's something we're going to maintain through all this, remaining a total flat organization. We do not have any CEOs or anything. We are just us, basically. We're a bunch of teams, self-organized teams, and trying to do the best we can like that. And yeah, most of us, we just love being agile, as we say. It's a culture. And us, yeah.
All right, who are we? So some of us are Danes, some of us are from other places. I'm originally from South Africa. I work with startup companies in Denmark. I have an education that has nothing in the world to do with IT. I'm a diplomat, according to my education. I obviously thought that was never going to work. I love technology massively, and since working with my first startup company, just got bitten by the bug. So started with project management techniques, which we'll find out a little later on. And then I read about Agile, and I went a little bit crazy because I love it. So I've done the CSPO, SM, less. There's a certification out there. I've tried to get it basically, and that's kind of the really short version. I live in Dubai with my wife and my kid and my mother-in-law, so I like to have challenges. and we all have our own projects on the side as well. That's great. That's who I am, and that's in Copenhagen. So that's where I used to be for a while.
Tilly.
Yeah, Tilly.
All right. When it comes to project management, and I have kind of the same background, I might say. I've been through everything as well. I have tons of certifications and stuff like that. But what's kind of a difference between us is that I'm actually, in my heart, what you would call a geek. I'm proud to announce that I just completed Fallout 4. My wife is not happy about it, but oh my god, did I have a great time. So when it comes to project management, I've been working with it for 15 years, more even. But lately, at Teletronics, we've been all about being agile. So let's move on to that instead of just talking about ourselves, Andrew. And let's start about what is agile. Of course, you heard a lot about it today, but how many know what it would be, what it would say to be agile? How many of you believe that you're agile?
Are you agile? Do you know what agile is?
How many, one thing is known about it, but how many is actually working in an agile environment?
I guess we have to.
Yeah, let's just keep it up there. And then how many will believe that you are successful? Come on, guys, you have to.
Okay, that's good. So we are actually giving you something, hopefully, that you can use or laugh at later on. All right. So, all right, what is Agile? You've heard a lot today about tools and processes and frameworks. I'm going to say that's not Agile. Those are Agile ways. Agile is this. Can I ask you all to stand up very quickly? It's quick, I promise. It's worth it. Now, can you just follow me? Just touch your toes. Touch them. Touch your toes. Come on. A couple of you guys can't do it. You've been sitting behind computers for too long. Thanks. You'll never see it again. That's Agile. Right? To show agility, and I don't necessarily mean muscular, I mean to be able to be flexible, to be able to press yourself into different ways. Agile is a way to show, sorry, can I use you as an example? I can't really touch my toes just yet, right? But I'm going to keep trying until I can, right? That's agility, that's being agile. So for me, and the teams that I work with, I learned that Agile is a way to show that you messed up fast. And we heard earlier today, you shouldn't celebrate failure, but when you messed up, you learn. So that's what Agile is. The rest is just generally up to you. Is that it?
Almost there.
Okay. Okay, so Agile, as I call it, is a thought process. Change your mind, right? Everything is complex and complicated. There's a great concept called systemic thinking. We're all learning about it now. But the idea that everything's a perspective. People are complex. Products are complex and complicated. You cannot simply say, over the next 6 months, I want this to happen. And it happens exactly like that, right? So we need to be able to learn fast, make changes, and be flexible, whatever framework you want to use. It's a way, and this is what I'm going to try and push, it's a way to engage clients. See, I'm really lazy. I don't like working really hard for client collaboration. So if I'm honest with them and they like it, well, they come back to me, right? So, and it's a way to focus on improving and accept change quickly. If you accept change quickly, you innovate all those good, great words that come with that.
All right. But where do we come from? Where does many companies come from today? They do this classic way. We analyze, we design, we implement, test it if we're good. Sometimes we have to do that if we're really in a hurry, and then we deploy, and then everything is working, right? That's how it is. That's how everything works nowadays, right? So everybody is happy. We spent 12 months, it's perfect. So, everyone is happy, right? So, I'll take my big package, I deliver it to my client and say, hey, here you go. Thanks, please give me the money now, and we're good.
One thing, before you get your 50 million, we talked about this. It's not quite what I had in mind. Would you mind, you can make a quick change on this, right? Like make this purple, that'd be really good.
That's what we're in the specification.
Yeah, I mean, color, I mean, how big is that? You can change, okay, tell you what, give me a quick change.
Sure, if you file a change request, we'll, analyze it, we'll design a new one, we'll come up with a price for you, of course, we'll implement it, no worries.
Here's my request, that's a change request, I guess that's what you call it. Yeah, so could you do it? Thanks.
And that's how it went on and went on and went on and went on. We've seen it many, many times. So even though when you do all these change requests, you might actually end up making a lot of money. I've been in the company. That was where they made the money. We just give it very, very cheap, and we know that they will come back for changes later. It doesn't really matter, because what matters was that we sold something. I was not there for that long. I'll tell you that. Because the problem is, the clients will not come back. They will, of course, be very, very unsatisfied. So what we want to do instead is that we want to be agile about it. We want to take a sprint at a time, look at what have we done, and we will deliver running software. And we do it every single time. We deliver something that we can deploy, and give it to our clients, and once we've done that, it might not be there yet, but we will get the feedback from the client. And that's everything that matters. Get feedback from the client. We'll have a feedback loop immediately. And then on top of that, you will continuously, every single sprint, you will deliver running software with the most valuable features first. And that's important. We'll start with what makes most value to the client. And we'll keep doing it on and on and on and on and on. And then after 12 months, if we have succeeded, and likely we will, or at least our chances will be a lot more better, is that we will get what the users need, or we will have achieved what the users need, not what they wanted in the beginning. Because during those 12 months, facts are, things have changed. And those of you who live in Dubai know how fast things change, especially down here, but also the rest of the world. It's not all centered about Dubai, even though a lot of people think so. But everything keeps changing. And this is the beauty of being agile, because, hey, now we actually have happy clients. They've been through and they've been with us the entire process, because after the first iteration, we have the feedback loop. So they will not come back and say, oh, by the way, this is not exactly what we wanted, because they've been through it all along. They've been with us.
Now, if I may, a quick story of success here is I've been listening to some test-driven development or design-driven tests, I think it's called. It's people talk a lot about technical debt. They talk about, oh, what do you do before you make a production release? And I've been listening to it. It's very interesting and very important conversation. I'm not that technical. I'm a politician. So I like to turn around the other side and say, why don't I just put that responsibility with the clients? Right? You know what you're going to get. It's not going to, in 2 weeks, it's not going to be perfect. Let's try it. You become my testers. My coders are my testers too, but you kind of see how it looks. Oh, you see how it looks. Oh, well, we need to turn this up. We need to give another 1,000 users access. Okay, well then we probably need to look at it. Right? Suddenly, you don't need to have all the perfect tests to make it work. And again, your feedback's faster and valuable. And the client owns the work. They own the value.
The fun part is that if you actually maintain to keep these deliverables all alone, even if you fail, of course you will do that sometimes. I did it recently with one of our biggest client. We implemented the perfect feature, exactly what he wanted. Well, at least that's what I thought. I was the product owner, so I take responsibility for that. So when the client saw this feature, he just smiled at me and he said, yeah, okay, I see what you did there, and it's really, really smart, but not at all what I wanted. And then he just smiled and laughed a little bit, and like, oh yeah, because he knew 2 weeks later he would get a new version, and it's fixed. So, okay, all it cost us was 2 weeks. So what we want to do, and that's what we're trying to say here, focus on the value, right? So what you do, if you go back to the first sprint, what is it you want to deliver? You want to deliver the minimum we need to create the maximum value. And what is the maximum value after the first sprint? Sometimes, if you have a very short sprint, you might not be able to do fully running software. It can be something extremely simple. Sometimes it can even just be, something in order for you to test the concept. Maybe I've seen deliverables where it's basically just flip overs. Okay, so then you click here, turn the page, then you'll see this page. Click there, you go here, but then you can click back, you flip it back.
There's a great heart rate app. Remember that one? We tested that at some point where this was how it was. And run, okay, quick. Okay, I'm live, done. That's what we got off the first sprint. Useless for those people, but they start to understand the usability of it.
And then you build something that the users can actually use. Once they start using your software, it will not be your software, it will be their software. And they will continuously give you your feedback. So you will know what it is they need. Not what they think they want, but what they really, really need. You will be able to keep asking the very, very important question being, why? So I want this button, it should be blue, and then when I click there, it should do like this and this and that. And you just simply ask them, why? Then the whole story will open up to you and they will say, oh, it's because I really spend a lot of time doing like this and I'd like to get these numbers out of the system or whatever it might be. And then once you really know your client and what you know what it is they need, you will be able to give them what they love. So if we take this illustration on top, that's the classic way you build one component and you build on top. In the beginning, they will not have anything useful, and in the end, they will have a car if you're doing the things right. And they will probably be happy with the car. If you take the other path, the agile path, you will start with something simple. It's not what they want, but it's something they can use. But by knowing your clients, by knowing what they really need and getting their feedback, you will end up giving them the fancy Porsche or whatever the fancy sports car it is they really need. All right. So, value-driven development is the key word. As I said, give them what they need, not what they think they want. Focus on value, not use cases, not what. Continues asking why. It's the most powerful question you can ask your clients. Keep asking it, and just keep doing it. And you will get the strong feedback. Alright?
I call it cheating, in case you're wondering. Example. But I also, have any of you been in the sales process? Yeah? It's fun, isn't it? And there's this stereotypical way to sell a project, or sell something. You serve the client, and you say, so what are your needs? And they tell you. right? How do you expect this to work? They tell you, and they stop talking. And then you can be evil and just be quiet. You can listen, and someone feels awkward, and eventually they start telling you more and more. It's a terrible thing to do. It's one of the ways you can sit on. If you've been there, but clients want what they want. But what they want is not necessarily what they're saying, right? And if you do it this way, you become the expert. You know, everyone uses the doctor analogy. Everyone wants to go to a professional doctor. You want to go to the right doctor. Here, you become the doctor. So wait, I'm listening to what you're saying. So you're saying you want the button purple. I get it. I get it. So actually what you're saying is you want the button to kind of correspond to the rest of the design. So the design's kind of important. Your experience is important. Maybe we should look at that. Maybe purple is just your way of seeing that. Right? That's kind of the value of product.
And remember here, as Andrew said, you're the doctor, you're the experts. So the client will keep focusing on, I want that button. And the real question might actually, the real answer, sorry, might actually be, there's no need for a button. And I'm not trying to do this matrix analogy or anything here, but we know it from the save button. Everybody knows that writing something, you need to save it. But why doesn't it just save by itself? Do you really need a save button? Again, ask the question, why do you need a save button? Sometimes it might make sense, sometimes it's not really useful. Alright, so all in all, this sounds really, really easy, right? Yeah. So, but there are at least a few questions that every time we talk about Agile, people will usually ask. The first thing that we get from people who are used to the more classic ways of doing projects, it would be, so how do you plan this? Because if you're not knowing what to do for the next 2 years, how can you deliver a plan, right? You have to have a plan. So what you will do in the classic projects, you will do a work breakdown structure, estimate these tasks, and end up having these nice defined description of the cost, resources needed, and of course the time estimate. Do a nice Gantt chart, define the critical path, have all your milestones, and it's beauty, right? And you will end up with having this pile of documentations. And actually, I think I have this in the next slide. Yeah, these are the appendices from one of my previous projects. Appendixes, not the real document, not the real thing. This is just appendixes.
How many versions of each of these documents do you go?
Yeah, that's the fun part. Because the problem is that every time something changes, as a project manager, I'll have to go through all the documents and change them, right? Because the world have changed. So I might have some, what do I have here? I'm sorry, it's in Danish, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, my SWOT analysis might change, my communication plans might change, because, yeah, things change, and I'll have to update all that. It's a headache.
Not to mention, very quickly, if I may. So, any of you are used to the concept of an SRS, Systems Requirement Specification. That's great, right? So that means that you have a high-level architect somewhere who's doing nothing else but writing a document about what he plans on doing to change it. 300 pages SRS. I've been part of a BRD that was over 1,000. That's a business requirement document. This is insane, right? What are we doing? You're hiring people, professionals, architects, the guys with the big egos, to write documents. Happiness is not going to be the paramount thing.
So the thing is, we believe we can spend our time a little bit better. The other way of doing it, quite simple, is that, okay, let's focus on what we're going to do for the next period of time, the next sprint. It can be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, depending on how agile you believe you are, what kind of software and how big your team are, and so on and so forth. Let's focus on that. And then for the rest, let's do something high level. Right? Let's say we know that we're going to do a communication app. We know that we're going to build a new car, but let's see what happens. Let's start with the most valuable thing, the minimum valuable product we can deliver, and then take it from there. Working software over comprehensive documentation. Those of you who know Agile know where I copy that from. Right?
It's my personal blog, of course. I'm quite smart, so I came up with all these concepts.
That's really what we're saying here. Forget about all the documentation and just focus on building some software. Right? Because in the end, that's where the value is. Often, I have written thousands of papers and nobody actually read it.
We do call you Rasmus, Gantt chart, Rasmussen behind the back. So.
That too. All right. So, instead of assume that the world won't change, we acknowledge that the world will change. We welcome these changes. That's basically the fundamental idea here. Responding to changes and following the plan.
I would argue that responding to change is following the plan, but that's, you'll realize after years of working with Agile. What is it you keep telling me? We had an agreement. Changes, let's make another agreement.
That was one of my perfect phrases when I was a classic project manager. It was like, I will always deliver on agreed time. Always. The trick were to change the agreement all the time, because that's what needed. And we see too often that, and the problem is also that you have all these documents, so some of the developers comes out, I think we're like a week behind. And you're like, okay, now I have to go through all these documents, and I have to change them.
Sneak a scope change.
So it's like, yeah, oh baby, you think you can catch up during the next month? I will not tell anyone, maybe you can put in some extra overtime, so you can catch up, then I don't have to change all the documents. And I don't have to do anything.
And that's nice. Are you developers, any of you? Have you ever heard that one that turns around and says, I just need you to work harder. Just work hard, because you're not working hard, Barry. Because you have that extra 30% buffer that you plan into your head. That's good.
All right, so basically, instead of trying to plan something that you know will fail, just forget about planning and just aim for the goal and see where it will take you. And then the good question will then be, how do you sell that?
Now, I've heard a lot of people, and again, I'm open to questions afterwards as well, saying you can't sell that product. It's ludicrous, right? Guy's about to put 250 million at your doorstep, and you're going to say, okay, I'll tell you what you get in the first week, and we'll take it later. It's probably not going to work so well. But I would argue that by focusing on certain aspects of your selling point, Agile is a much better way to do it. It's truthful. All of us have experienced so the sales guy's gone out to come back and he said, guys, I'm so great, it's the coffee machine in the world. And you're sitting there going, we make timelines. Yeah, it's a coffee machine, you guys can do that, do it in 5 minutes. Doesn't make any sense, right? So focus on that. There are a couple of ways to do it. If you focus on the Agile methodology, you're going to say to your customer, you're going to cheat, you're going to go to your customer and say, what do you want? And they're going to say, well, we want this, why are you here? You did an RFP, you've done all these big documents. Say, I understand that. Why do you want it? You're going to do that, why? You're going to sound somewhat philosophical. You'll sound like the expert, that's good. But it's important because then they'll understand that it's communication. So immediately there, you're setting a precedent that most other companies won't set. It's really useful. Inside an experienced person. Again, the ownership. I'm a product owner. I'm lazy, remember? I want them to be the product. I want them to take ownership of what's happened. Them to test my software better, right? I tested it, I know it kind of works. Just go out there, what's the feedback? Oh, this awesome thing didn't work? All right, well, we'll change it next time. And they're loving it because they know that's happening. Very simple to break down in milestone delivery. It is. The ballpark figure's great. Don't commit on behalf of your developers. Never do that. Commit on behalf of your understanding and their understanding. And I can answer some questions about it later on. The client always pays for what he gets, never overpays, and you're sitting there, if you own a company, you're like, oh, what are you talking about? Getting my margins, man. I'm supposed to make 50 million. If we're delivering it as a 30 and we only charge 30, what am I going to do? If you only charge 30, you also have that, you've been honest and truthful. You have that overhead for yourself. You can do another project. Your customer's happy because, wow, that's nice. You know, Saudi Arabia just has to change all of their current contracts to come in 5% less. Current contracts, not new ones. Right? How do they do it? If they went Agile, I would argue that'd be a good way to go. You're always going to come in because you focus on value. And the provider never overcommits. That's kind of nice. Imagine a world where no one is overcommitted for you.
5 minutes.
Like that, for example. Terribly overcommitting on my time. It's unbelievable. Right? So selling this, in my mind, is simple. Maybe a little harder to start that conversation, but truthfulness always works out.
Try to speed up a bit. All right. So customer collaboration over contract negotiation.
Yeah, see what we're doing there?
Yeah. Key points.
Yeah, so again, Agile is not a set of instructions. There are frameworks that will help give you these instructions. It's a mindset, always change. Our company has gone through, I don't know how many different types of tools and processes. It doesn't mean we're less agile, we don't change it. The fact that we change it, review it, change it, is this good, is this bad? That makes it agile. Right? You'll never be done with agile. No one ever goes, right, that's it, 100%, we're agile, let's move on. Doesn't work that way. Again, using agile, you have to try to be it. Think it, be it. Try it. Before you do anything else, people go, oh, that sounds like that hippie stuff from Woodstock. That's weird. Oh, touchy-feely, right? Got to be nice to people. What's that about? Try it. You'll see the results very quickly. It is a culture. That's where it comes from. Don't fear failure. It's your friend, right? So if you fail in 2 weeks, doesn't mean you're going to fail next time. If you fail, you learn something. You learn something together with the customer. Failure is good, as long as you learn something. Is that how to use it? No, I'll use an anecdote. We all know the story, everybody. I don't know if it's true or not. I've heard this 100 times. Michael Dell, no, someone at IBM, I don't know what it was, turned around and some CTO made a huge mistake, lost, I don't know, 5-6 million, and the reporter said, well, are you going to fire this person? You just lost 5-6 million. Why would I do that? I just spent 5-6 million to train them. And I'm going to do that again. Right? That's a mentality shift. That's kind of important.
So, that's all the good things for your company, but we talked about, we've heard the previous sessions talking about happiness. So what else have we seen? We've seen that we actually become a happier company. I was proud before, I think all were proud, the first session, all the Teletronics guys were the ones still standing at the end when we had these 3 questions, about, hey, how happy we are. So, the reason is that as a developer, if you have to focus on all the problems you have ahead of you for the next 2 years in order to solve the problem, you will end up being extremely stressful. We all will, but instead, now we can just focus on, okay, what's important right now? What is it we need to deliver right now? Then we'll take it one step at a time. The other problems, they will come, but everything in due time. And we have the freedom to do what feels right, because we haven't given a full specification. We have more like value we want to achieve, and how that value is going to be achieved is decided by our developers, by the teams. They decide on themselves. As long as they deliver value, we're all good. I don't care about technologies. The client doesn't care about the technologies or the language used or anything. The team will decide. Innovation and options to use new technologies. As I said, we don't care. Developers care, and they will do what is best for sure. So, and they will feel a great ownership, great responsibility. At least that's our goal, that's the achievement we're looking for. Individuals over interactions and processes on Right? Alright, so in order to show you a little bit of where we are, I want to show you this one. I hope it works. I hope this.
It all began in 2007 when true visionaries within the government trusted us with an opportunity to create an innovative Dubai-based software company. Transferring knowledge to enable local talent to be part of our adventure was key to building a sustainable software development company with the flexibility required to adapt to our ever-changing world. Sometimes you just don't know what you need until you see it. That's why we deliver working software frequently and work closely with our customers to craft it to perfection. We knew there was a better way. Our innovative approach was necessary to meet requirements, challenging old habits and questioning everything. We found a way to enable our customers to do more with smarter software. So together with our end users, we brainstormed and challenged every notion in order to deliver our very first product. As we grew, we continued to challenge ourselves, always reaching higher with a willingness to improve and a desire to innovate serving as a constant goal of inspiration. By maintaining a flat organization with no bureaucracy and without a hierarchical system, we generate a fun, engaging, challenging, and adventurous workplace. Our customer-centric organization, our agile mindset, and new way of thinking helps us to be passionate about crafting great products that our customers can rely on. In line with the same and wise leadership of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, innovation today is not an option, but a necessity. It is not a culture, but a work style. In recent years, we have continuously held company-wide innovation camps to bring out our true human potential and creativity. We ask questions that challenge ourselves to turn ideas often deemed impossible into reality. We focus on how to maximize our potential in the most efficient ways possible to keep us ahead on our products and processes. Sharing is important for us, and being part of the open source community enables us to collaborate globally and expands our horizons and borders beyond what anyone thought possible. The future of Dubai is bright, and we believe that the best is yet to come. Our mission is, by crafting software and creating knowledge, to enable the people of Dubai to live happier, safer, and more fulfilled lives.
Basically, what Agile told me. All right. I believe that's what we had time for. Andrew and I are here, of course. We'll also be here tonight at the dinner. Otherwise, with all the guys with the trunk club, we'll be happy to.
Where do we put our CD?
We can take your CD now.
All right. Any other questions?
Actually, honestly, we are, like I said, we're increasing 20 people this year. We'll probably increase 40 people next year. So we're doing very well, and we're excited about it.
And we're hiring. That's
We're hiring.
Yeah.
I go on like you. I came to the interview, just quick anecdote, and I was told about this, and I was like, yeah, sure, Agile, whatever. Came down here, and I was like, this is crazy. I had a conversation in the first couple of weeks with my boss, and I was like, yeah, they didn't hire me to do this, so I'm not going to do this. That's not part of my title. And he goes, well, I actually hired you to be you. Figure it out. And since then, that's what I've been. So I've been product owner, coffee maker, random wood guy, whatever it is that's needed. That's what I'll do.
Do you guys, have you looked at, or heard of, or looked at sociocracy 3.0?
Yes. And part of what comes out of sociocracy is our commitment to this idea of, and something we're focusing on in the company, that is the idea of systemic movement thinking, and so the perspective idea. So everything changes according to your perspective. How do you include that as a sociological group? It's pretty good.
How do you introduce Agile with the running monolithic application? When you have a new requirement, new project, it's easier to implement Agile, but for a heavy running application, how do you introduce with your customer, how do you interact? It's pretty risky to run Agile, let's say, talk about everyday life, there are mainframe systems, with a huge reservation system, and you're not really involved. How do you do it? How would you do it?
Well, the first thing is get the expectation, right? So that's what I do. So I take a look at it, we take a look at this company and say, well, what is it we can do here? Where would we start? It's our lowest hanging fruit. And talk to the Emirates Airline in this case and say, either we do an initial adoption, I can imagine off the top of my head, we'd have to move to something, we'd have to work on some parts of the mainframe or whatever it was, take a look at the release cycle of it, take a look at technical prospects and say, how can we achieve these values quickly? And we break the values up. The client would be happy about that because they would see that there'd be movement of whatever it is that they want. So you have to break it down to these values. That's what I would do initially.
But we do deliver running software every 2 weeks on big production systems.
Yeah.
We do that, no doubt. Sometimes, agreed, sometimes we fail. Sometimes there is something wrong. But the good part is it will only take 2 weeks before it's fixed.
Well, that's because we chose that cycle.
Yeah, it could have been 1 week. For other projects, they deliver every week, sometimes even more often than that.
Imagine a solution with about 70 servers, right? It's quite a big solution. You can produce value for that, depending on what part of it you're working with, very quickly.
And sometimes it's not the entire system that needs to deliver a new deployment. It might just be 2 out of 50 modules that needs to update. But we need to deliver new life all the time.
Just one question. What do you do when you, let's take the sake of Emirates Airlines, there are like 2,000 reservation agents all over the world. How do you deliver software then every 2 weeks? Because probably a lot of them needs to be retrained every 2 weeks, and probably a lot of organizations don't really want to do that.
True. So if I'm going to change it to an extent that they're going to need retraining every 2 weeks, then I'm going to start a new company. Right? So there's that. I'm going to be like, guys, we train. I mean, there is the aspect of how do you train people, right? And so from a lesson observation, Karen.
Yeah. I just read a note, I forgot where it were the other day, that UX is like a bad joke. It's not really that good if you have to explain it.
Well, yeah. I was going to turn around and say I was going to be less, but I'd say from a less perspective, which is something we like to do, the conceptualization of it, we would include, as part of our project delivery, the ability to either create a webinar or something that these guys can log in and see what it's about. Right? You can do anything from a basic, who loves this, documentation about what changed, no one cares. If you need to show something that's new, you need to show something new. I mean, these 2,000 agents who have to log in and use the system must have a pain somewhere that's being solved. Otherwise, what's the point?
Releasing sprints into production, 2 weeks time. DevOps is important, the touch point. You cannot go 2 weeks into production since an application without having a proper DevOps setup.
DevOps is part of the team. In every team we have DevOps.
We have a DevOps representative, we have testing, everybody's testing. There's someone who owns a part of that knowledge, but everybody shares responsibility. That's kind of how it works so far.
So the ownership over is on the team.
Including the deployment.
Yeah.
Deployments and maintenance.
And again, sometimes it doesn't work so well. But then the team, because they've owed that commitment, come back and make it.
Being that deployments require downtime, systems are limited. How do you continuously keep on giving out spread which requires downtime?
So we have a really large system that cannot go down. I'll give you an example from another business I work with. So you remember the crash of 2008, right? The big economic crash. Some of the big banks had systems that are taking the next couple of years to take companies still. And some of these banks, the ways they did it is they would release updates to huge financial systems that would be able to analyze markets very quickly. They release updates every 5 or 6 hours, continuously, never ending. Right? So if you need to do something like that, then you need a continuous deployment strategy. And I'd say that Agile definitely has some really great methodologies for that, frameworks. And if you can't do it now, do it until you can. That's something you need to set the expectations with the client and say, look, we're going to take over something that's going to require continuous deployment. It's going to require an hour of downtime first. We're going to try and knock it down half an hour of downtime, or whatever it is, until you get it right. That's unfortunately the only way. If there is a silver bullet to continuous integration and deployment, I'm all ears. But that's generally how it goes. That's the hard work of it. And as project managers, we always overestimate our downtime, just like we overestimate everything else. Oh, it'll take 7 hours. It's done in half an hour. You love us, right? Whatever it takes. But that's kind of how it goes. Don't let your developers ever tell you. Sorry, guys. Don't let your developers ever tell you. Continuous integration. Oh, this is impossible. It takes too long. Oh, it's so hard. But too much technical debt. I love these excuses. They're terrible. Do it. Make it work.
So, I really don't want to be finicky, but there's a cricket match of the World Cup at 6 o'clock between India and Pakistan, and definitely this is one of the matches we're going to watch. So if you can, wrap it up so that the last session can happen. And
look, I mean, it's not South Africa playing, so let's not get too excited. But if there are any more questions, we're here, and come and see us. We're wearing blue shirts today.